Welcome to Love, Light, and With the Shits. This podcast is dedicated to helping women of color heal trauma, live authentically, and create their dream lives. I'm your host, Alyssa Amison. We'll talk about self-love, spiritual journeys, relationships, manifesting, and so much more. So if you're looking to start on a journey towards living your best life, you've made it to the right place. Hello, everyone. It's been a long time. Your girl has been MIA, but I'm back. All these planets in retrograde and the eclipses, like all this energy, especially Mercury retrograde, has been whooping my ass. So my energy was kind of off, and I do not like recording when my energy is not centered and I'm not grounded. So I took a little break to get my mind right, and I'm back. The episode this week is going to be about tapping into our femininity, which I feel is such an important thing to talk about because women are being described as being more dominant, not submissive, too career oriented, not family oriented, and especially Black women. I feel like we get overly criticized about our energy. So I felt like this was a good episode to do because it's not just a basic surface thing that people want to make it seem like on social media. It's deep roots into why women struggle with their femininity and live more in their masculine energy. So we're going to talk about that all today. So I have definitely struggled with femininity. That's why I felt it was so important to record this episode, because to me, it really started like when I was a kid. I was the only child for 10 years before my sister was born. My dad did not have any boys. So I pretty much was like the son he never had. Everything that he did, like as far as cutting the grass, working on cars, working on roofs, anything outside in the dirt, whatever, like I was there. Playing basketball, I was there. So I always was doing what we quote unquote call like boy things with my dad. But which is not bad, because within our family, we have more girls than we do boys in my generation. So our girls were always taught to do everything. Not only did we do the domestic things like cooking, cleaning, laundry, etc., but we also did all those other outside chores and things like that. So we were always taught to be very well-rounded, to not have to depend on a man, be with a man because you want to be with him, but not because you depend on him to do those things for you. And also with our family always helped people. We never really asked for help or accepted help from others. We were always the helpers. So that already set me up for not wanting to ask other people for help. And there's a generational component also, because on my mother's side, I come from a long line of strong, independent women. They did not have good, reliable men in their lives. So they had to be in charge of everything. They had to run their households. They didn't have good men to depend on. So all of these factors are what came into play for me and why I struggled with my feminine energy. Now, fast forward to young adulthood. For a little while, I was a single parent, working, providing for my son. All the responsibility was on my shoulders because his father was there, but not really in a supportive role to me. So everything was pretty much on my shoulders. I didn't have someone that I could depend on regularly to give me a break or help me out until I met my now husband. Now, Tyrone worked really hard when we first met. He had 2 jobs. He helped me with DJ, my oldest son, a lot. He helped me financially. He helped me move. I had never experienced a man taking care of me outside of my father. You know, as an adult, I did not have men in my life that were there to be supportive, be with me, or to help me out. So after only dating for a few months, he was injured and was unable to work all of a sudden. So I went back to being the sole provider of my household. I was a mom to my toddler. I was pregnant with our child. I was currently at that time I was in nursing school, and I was working also as a waitress. And even when I gave birth to my son, I didn't take any time off because we were struggling financially so bad. I went straight to work. I had my son December 1st. I graduated from nursing school December 20th. I started my first job the first week of January. So literally like no time at home with my new baby, to no time for me really to recover. I had a C-section, so I had no time to recover from that properly. Like I literally went just straight to working. I never had a break. And this led me to feeling very resentful in my relationship. I was overstressed, overwhelmed. I was terrible at asking for and accepting help. You could also say I was controlling because I felt like, well, if I got to do everything, if I got to make all the money, if I still got to cook, I still got to clean, I still got to take care of the kids, like you can't tell me shit. Like you're not going to question me about what I'm doing. You're not going to question me about what I'm spending because I'm doing everything. So I carried that energy with me for a very long time. Like I literally probably have just worked on this maybe like in the last year. No lie. Because I basically have been molded to be dominant and in charge of everything from a young age. So I know that I'm not the only person that's like that. It's a lot of people out there that's like that and struggle with that. And it's not because we want to be men or we always want to be in charge. It's because we had to be in charge. We did not have a choice. You had to do what you had to do or fold. I can't fold. I got a family to take care of. So I've always taken charge. But I had to work on that because it was just turning me into a very bitter person. And I recognized that. And I was like, something got to change. So when I figured out that I wanted to start a journey on trying to be more feminine, I went to good old YouTube University and started looking at femininity on YouTube. Now, the definition of femininity or feminine energy is a little different in spirituality. Now, when we talk about that femininity and masculinity, in spirituality, we are not necessarily speaking about genders. The terms refer to energies that we all possess. Men have feminine energy. Women have masculine energy. It has nothing to do with sexuality. They're just they're energies. And they have to be balanced. Each energy has its traits. Feminine energy is the being. It's the yin of yin and yang. It is receiving. It's empathy. It's intuition. It's nurturing. Masculine energy is doing energy. It is the yang part. It is structured. It is protective. It is giving. It is logical. It is direct. The key is balance because we all carry these different traits in our bodies. It's just some of us have gone through certain situations that have thrown these traits off balance, and that is where the problem lies. So me going on YouTube, I'm looking at femininity. Now, when I first went on there and I looked at it, and this was kind of before my spiritual awakening, when I went on there for femininity, I would see a lot of videos telling me that to be feminine, I need to be more docile. I need to wear lighter colors like pink. I need to make sure I work out and my body's right. I need to always have makeup on. Don't be loud. Don't be argumentative. And all of these things were with the end goal of finding a wealthy, high value man. What? So I'm already feeling bad, that I feel like I'm operating in too much masculine energy. And now you're telling me that I'm not pretty enough. I need to work out. I need to be wearing makeup on. No arguing. Just sitting there, basically just looking pretty so you can snag this high value man. And I'm just like, what? And then it made me feel like shit because it made me feel like something was really wrong with me. Like something was wrong with me because I didn't want to wear makeup. Something was wrong with me because I didn't want to wear light colors all the time. So it just added to me feeling even worse about myself. Until when I started watching these videos and stuff, I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, you cannot tell me that feminine energy is just this shallow. Like, there's no way. Just basically your only goal in life is to look pretty so that you can find a rich man to live off of. Like, it's got to be more to the story than this. So then I started to search for spiritual videos about feminine energy. Those were a game changer. Those videos made sense because feminine energy has nothing to do with weakness or being overly sensitive or submissive. Because on the flip side, feminine energy is very powerful. So once I started looking at these videos, I learned that I needed to balance my feminine and masculine energies. And as I explained before, my masculine energy was more dominant because I was in charge of my home. I provided for the family. I cooked. I cleaned. Like, I literally ran everything in my home. But I operated in this energy because I had to survive and my family had to be taken care of. So now that I look back on, like, I don't feel bad because at the time I operated in my energy because that's what I knew what to do, because it was about taking care of my family and making it. Anything else didn't matter, because if your basic daily needs are not met, nothing else matters. No other explanations, no spiritual meanings. If your basic physiological needs are not met, nothing else matters. So once I recognized that I was doing the best that I could with the circumstances that I had to forgive myself. And then I told myself, all right, well, what do I need to do to be more balanced? So the steps that I'm going to lay out are the things that I did to help me balance my energies. And these can also help you balance your energy also. So step 1 was the research part. Like I said, I went on YouTube to look up feminine energy videos, femininity videos. But make sure that you look up divine feminine or spiritual femininity videos. Stay away from those videos about hypergamy, about doing everything you can to snatch a good man. Stay away from those. They're very shallow. They're very superficial. And they can really make you feel even worse than what you did in the beginning if you don't understand what you're really trying to fix. Step 2, I had to take an honest look at myself. I had to recognize the traits and behaviors that I was exhibiting. I was dismissive and resentful to my husband because I felt like I was doing everything and he wasn't contributing as much as I was. But I don't believe I made my needs known, though, because, as I said before, I was always used to giving help. My family was always used to giving help. We were never the recipients of help because we are a very self-sufficient group of folks. Like, we're going to make it do what it do, no matter what. So after a while, I had to recognize those toxic behaviors that I was showing, and I was just tired. I was tired of that. And then I finally just got tired of being a martyr and knew that something had to change, which leads into step 3, asking for help, making your needs known. I was upset because I felt like I wasn't being helped a lot, but also I did not clearly state what I needed. And when you deal with other people, you cannot just assume that if they see you drowning that they're going to come help you, because sometimes they'll look at you and be like, oh, you're fine. Oh, she always does this. Or she does everything on her own all the time. And so sometimes, especially with men, you have to be very clear and very direct on what you need from them. You have to give them tasks. Say, I need you to wash the laundry today. You can't say, well, can you help me out while you're off of work today? No, you have to be very clear and direct and let them know the task that you actually need help with. Because if you just expect others to jump in and help without direction, you're going to be pissed off every single time. All right. Even if you do that, even if you are able to discern people's needs and you jump in and help them without asking, does not mean that they will do the same for you. And it's not even in a negative way. It's just some people are just not aware. So you have to make them aware and give them clear direction. Step 4, don't be so hard on yourself. once you start to uncover the not so positive or toxic traits, it can really bum you out because it makes you feel like a shitty person. But you need to be proud of yourself for not only recognizing the issues, but putting in the work towards fixing those things. That is major. And also, don't look at it as changing who you are. Like you're evolving and healing. So many times society has been so hard on Black women. We're too angry. We're too bitter. We're dominant. We're masculine. We're loud. We're aggressive. Whatever, whatever, whatever. But no one actually stops to think why that may be. They just think about themselves and what they want, but they don't think of the factors that have led up to Black women being as strong as they are. Now, historically, since slavery, Black women had to be strong or they would not have survived. It was literally life or death. And just think, they were splitting our families up then. And if you think that mindset has not trickled down to our people in this generation, you're bugging. Because what people call generational curses is also generational trauma. And slavery, historically was not that long ago. It was not that long ago. So you have to look at it like this mindset of being a strong woman has been since the beginning of our history, because they took our men away. We still had to work in the field. We still had to cook. We still had to provide for our children. And on top of that, we're being raped by these white slave masters. And then just think, if your husband was still with you, now your husband is probably resentful and looking at you a certain way because you've been raped by this white man and you're having this white man's baby. You can't even feed your own kids. You got to breastfeed their kids as you watch your children go hungry. Your husband is probably not only, mad that, this white man has taken advantage of you, but he feels powerless because he can't do anything about it. So it was just so much built up between the man and the woman back then. So much energy, and they couldn't help it. Those were some terrible circumstances that they lived through. And those energies keep being passed down to us until we stop them. So now, fast forward into modern times, there are a lot of Black women that are single parents and have to be the head of households with no real good support systems from the men that, help them make these children. So they're working hard. They're trying to raise children. They don't have the privilege of self-care, me time, normal schedule. Some of these mothers have to work night shift. They have to leave their kids at home by themselves sometimes. They have to work long shifts just to make ends meet. So they don't have the time to just sit down. Oh, I'm going to drink me a glass of wine. I'm going to put me a face mask on, or I'm going to go walk around the park today. Like, they are about survival. They're about getting these bills paid. They're about making sure that their children are getting fed, that their utilities are still on, that they have gas in their car. They don't have the privilege of thinking, oh, I'm going to sit down and take some space for myself. No, like it's literally survival. So if you're exhibiting those traits of masculine energy, do not beat yourself up. You're doing what you got to do, or you did what you had to do. But now that we recognize those traits, we recognize why, now it's time to heal and get balanced. Next, number 5, consult with a therapist. Now, if you're not skilled in introspection or looking inside of yourself or recognizing when you have problems or there's some things that you need to work on, it may be helpful for you to speak with a therapist for another viewpoint. If you're not able to be honest with toxic traits that you show and you're not able to recognize those and work on them, then you need to have a skilled professional person that can help you recognize these things, to help you see things clearly. I've mentioned before that I went to go see a therapist multiple times, and it was very helpful because there were things that I did not see or I did not recognize in myself. And not all things were bad. It was a lot of good that I wasn't recognizing in myself also. So sometimes it's nice to have an outside opinion, somebody that's not your friend, not your family member, but someone that you don't know, in a no judgment zone that can just help you see things in a different way. Number 6, back on YouTube University, I looked up binaural beats. You can search for, it's called Awaken Feminine Energy Frequencies. Also look up root chakra clearing frequencies, because your root chakra is your first chakra. It's your base. It is your home, your energy home of stability, safety, and security. And if you have an issue with operating in too much masculine energy and being too dominant, your root chakra is probably blocked because you haven't felt safe, you haven't felt secure to where you can let go and just live and be in the moment and to receive help. So listen to those frequencies. They're so helpful. I would put them on as I was going to sleep and just listen to them while I sleep. You can also, like if you're working or you're cleaning your house, you can also put them on and just let them play in the background. So they're very, very helpful, but it is better to listen to them with headphones in. It helps you kind of clear your mind and focus on the frequencies versus just listen to it out loud. But either way will work. Number 7, set intentions to make time for yourself. You can start with something small. Start like 15 to 30 minutes to yourself, maybe with a glass of wine, a glass of water, some music. Find out when you can carve out that time for 15 or 30 minutes. Is it early in the morning before you go to work? Or is it at night after you lay the kids down to go to bed? But find that time to just sit and be. Don't think about work. Don't think about bills. Don't think about the kids. None of that. I know it's hard, but it takes practice. But sit there for a little bit of time and just focus on being in the moment. Enjoy the quiet. Enjoy the stillness. Use this as a time to meditate. Like I told you before, meditation is so important. That's how you get in tune with yourself. That's how you build up your intuition, is sitting with yourself, not being afraid of what feelings may come up, acknowledging them, praising them, and then letting them go. It's so important. Be creative, paint, sing, dance around the house, anything. Do things for yourself. You deserve a break. You have to tell yourself, I deserve a break. I do not have to be a martyr. I am here to refill my own cup. How can you give to somebody else if your cup is empty? You can't. How can you care for your family if deep down you're resentful and overworked and have no energy? You can't properly love or care or take care of your family. You can't. You have to know that you are worthy to receive help. You are worthy to take a break. You are worthy to just sit. It's not selfish in a bad way. You have to take care of yourself. Period. If you can't take care of yourself, you cannot properly take care of others. Okay? You need to share your feelings. Be more vulnerable. And I know that's so hard because everything in society is basically about not showing any signs of weakness. But we have to learn to be more vulnerable because that's how we accept help. That's how we change. That's how we change the energy in ourselves. When people are showing anger, it is actually fear. Anger is actually fear on steroids. Okay? You're angry because you're fearful that you're not being heard, that you're not being valued. People use anger as a mask on a daily basis. I did it. All right. You're not going to make me, I'm not going to let you think that you made me cry and hurt my feelings. I'm going to just be angry with you. If I cuss you out or I give you the silent treatment or I don't fool with you. All right. I'm trying to tell you, you didn't hurt my feelings. Deep down, I'm hurt. Deep down, I want to cry. Deep down, I want to tell you how bad you hurt my feelings, but I can't do that because I don't want you to see that I'm weak. We have to stop that thinking. We have to stop that. And I know it's so hard because we're taught as little kids to not cry or express themselves. What you crying for? If you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to really cry about. Those are some of the things that we've been told since we were children. So it blocked us from being able to properly express our feelings, to say, you hurt me, or this is making me feel sad. Because they didn't play that back then. And it's not because our parents or our forefathers were bad people, but like I said, historically, we've had to be strong. We couldn't break. So those are just the traits and the teachings that were passed down. But we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. It's okay to be sad. If somebody hurts your feelings and makes you cry or sad, tell them. Don't just automatically lash out, because then your true pain and your message gets lost in translation. They're just going to see that you're angry and bitter and a bitch. And it takes them and to be honest, it takes that person off the hook for what they did to you. Because when you're confronting someone angrily or just being so emotional, it lets them off the hook because people see you and they see how you react. And they're like, oh, she must be the problem because he's over there just cool, chilling. It's got to be her because she's wilding all the time. And that gets them off the hook of actually acknowledging the things that they did to hurt you. So when someone hurts you, tell them that calmly. You hurt me. You did this and it made me feel XYZ, so that they actually get to feel what you're feeling. All right. Don't let people get off the hook. Being angry and cussing them out is not doing nothing. But when you stop and speak to them in a heartfelt manner about what they did to you, now they probably feel a little bit of what you're going through. And maybe they'll understand that they need to do better in their actions or the things that they say. So just experience all your emotions in a healthy way. Sadness and being hurt are not signs of weakness. Keeping how you really feel bottled up inside is so unhealthy. It's so unhealthy, not only mentally and emotionally, but physically. When you keep bottled up stuff in, it can harm your body physically. So let it out. Dance, scream, write, do whatever you got to do. Get it out of your system. And one of the next episodes that I'm going to be doing is going to be talking about the mind-body connection with emotions. And so that we can dive deeper into seeing the actual physical symptoms that stored emotions and stored trauma, how they just wreak havoc on our bodies. So I'm really excited about that. But just, let yourself be able to express things in a way that's going to be beneficial for you. Okay? Don't let people keep labeling, don't let people continue to label you angry, bitter, masculine, all this other stuff. Bump all that. Because the men that say that, they just want somebody real cute in their arm to take care of at home. Okay? We are bosses. But even though we are female bosses and we know how to do everything, does not mean that we should do everything. And on the flip side of that, there are some good men out in the world, if that's your goal. If your goal is to find a partner to be with, to share your life with, to get married or whatever, there are a lot of good men in the world out there. But when you're bitter and you don't work on balancing your feminine and masculine energies, it is hard for these men to come in because you have a brick wall up and you're not letting that wall down. So you have this good man or woman, whatever partner you're looking for, that's trying to build something with you or trying to take some of the pressure off your shoulders. But because you haven't recognized the inconsistencies in your energies, you're not able to be vulnerable and to let them help you or to let them help take some of the burden off of your shoulders. And you end up losing on a good person in your life. So I don't want anyone to miss out on their dream life. And it doesn't just have to be about romantic relationships. These can be friendships also. If you're not vulnerable and able to let people in, nobody's going to want to be around you. No one's going to be around this dense, dark, burdensome energy. So we need to lighten it up. We need to recognize it. We understand that we operated in that energy because we had to survive and make it. But as I have said before, our goal here on this earth is not just to survive. It is to thrive. And we've got to get out of this survival, get it out the mud, zero fucks given mentality. We can't do that anymore. It's burdening ourselves down, and it also burdens our kids down because they're picking up that energy and those teachings also, and we can't do that. Our jobs is to make sure that the next generation is more prepared, that they're more free, that they're more loving, that they're more accepting, they're more receiving of love. Okay? We cannot continue the vicious cycles. We've got to stop it. And I know we can do it. I've worked on it, and I've come so far with that. I've come so far. I ask for help. I don't overburden myself anymore. I don't just do things for people because I'm supposed to help. If it's something that doesn't align with me or does not align with my schedule, I'm not doing it. And the thing is, when you first start on this journey of changing and shifting and not always being there for people, you're going to get some pushback. But guess what? Keep going, because you have to teach people how to access the new you. You have to teach them that things have changed. So it's going to be some growing pains there, because if somebody's used to calling you in the middle of the night and you jump and run and do things for them, when you stop doing that, oh, you funny acting. Oh, you think you this, you think you that. No, I'm just healing. No, I'm healing, and I'm appreciating myself and valuing myself and valuing my time. And know that I'm not a martyr. I'm a person. And that's all you have to do. And that's all you have to say. If after a while, people in your life cannot adjust to the new you, the new and improved you, then they weren't meant for you. But do extend grace and give people a chance to relearn you, because it's very important. Everything, we didn't get into this journey overnight. And other people are not going to be able to appreciate the changes that we made overnight. So extend grace, give people the opportunity and the time and the space to start learning the new us. But after a while, if they don't get it, then it's just time to move on. No hard feelings, no love lost, but I'm operating at a different frequency. If you can't appreciate that, you got to go. So on that note, that is all for today. Thank y'all for hanging out with me as usual. I hope that this information was helpful. As always, you can always reach out to me on my social media platforms or my email if you have any questions or need any extra resources to help with any topic that I discuss. I cannot wait to talk with y'all again. And as always, be love, be light, but also be with the shits when necessary. Bye.